Hey, it's Alisha here, and I wanted to film a video about honoring yourself versus honoring commitments. So, like, if you have a plan to meet somebody, to go somewhere, and then you don't feel like you want to go and you want to cancel on that person, what is the quote unquote right thing to do or wrong thing to do? That's kind of what I wanted to film this video about, because I know a lot of people think it's like wrong to cancel your plans on somebody, that you should never do that and you should always, stick to your commitments because that shows integrity, and all that sort of thing. But I don't necessarily agree with that, because honoring yourself is the most important thing. Honoring yourself in the equation of your life. And that's going to be the thing that creates the most for everyone around you. You might think that it's wrong to cancel your plans on somebody, something that you've committed to, because it could, hurt someone else's feelings. But really, if you're honoring yourself, that is going to be the thing that creates the most for the other person, even if they can't see it in the moment, even if it's making the person upset and frustrated with you. You've got to let them have their pain, because that's going to be the thing that creates the most for them anyways, is to let them have their pain. If they're the kind of person that's super triggered when somebody cancels on them, then that's like their own emotional trigger that they need to move through, and you've got to let them have their pain in order for them to move through that. And I understand that it can seem like rude and like disrespectful to cancel on somebody. And that's why what I would really recommend is tuning into your body before you make plans with somebody to see, is it really honoring yourself to say yes to go to this thing? Because your body will tell you then whether, you really want to go to this thing or not, and it might even hurt that person's feelings then to say no to go to that. But if it's honoring you, it is going to create the most for the other person. Because, like, what's the point of you going to something that you don't even want to be at? It's not gonna, be an enjoyable experience for you or for the other person. And my mentor actually filmed a video about this, and her husband did too. And it was called FOMO versus JOMO. So if you, don't really want to go to something, but then you have this fear that you're going to miss out, and you think, I should just go to it just in case, well, that doesn't actually serve you. It really serves you to choose not to go to that thing and choose your own joy. Because you choosing not to go to something that doesn't bring you joy does bring you way more joy in the long run, even if there's that little bit of discomfort, because of the fear that you might miss out on something. And choosing from fear never, ever, ever is going to create the most for you. But the point is to tune into your body before you agree to go to something, to see if it's something that you really want to do. And if you can tell that you don't want to do it, then it's best that you just say no to it, so then you don't have to cancel on the person later. But let's say it's too late for that. You already said yes to something, and then closer to, you realized that this is really not something that you want to go to. It's not going to bring you joy. It might even make you feel worse for whatever reason, or maybe you're just feeling really down that day and you don't think you're gonna enjoy the experience, and that your body is really telling you to spend some time alone, spend some time connecting with yourself, resting, whatever that might be. So in that scenario, yes, I would say honor yourself first rather than honoring your commitment. I know it can be hard because you think you're being disrespectful, you're hurting the other person's feelings, maybe they might be mad at you. But if you're really honoring yourself and what's going to bring you joy and what's not going to bring you joy, that is going to create the most for you and for the other person. And if the other person can't understand that this is just you honoring yourself, then maybe they're not someone who you want in your life. And I actually filmed a separate video about being selfish versus honoring yourself, which is very similar, and I will put a link to that in the description. But there really is a huge difference between the two, and putting yourself first doesn't have to be like a negative thing if it really is truly you honoring yourself. And it's not like you're not going to that thing, or you're not seeing a certain person because you're trying to avoid feeling something. or maybe to upset another person to teach them a lesson or something like that. Like, that's a completely different reason to not go to something, and that really has nothing to do with honoring yourself and what's truly gonna create the most for you and bring you the most joy. So I will put a link to that video in the description that explains that in much more detail. But yeah, I just wanted to give my 2 cents about that don't feel guilty if your body's really telling you, I do not want to go to this event, I do not want to go to this thing, but I already committed to it. It's okay. It's going to create the most for you and those people that you made these plans with, for you to do the thing that your body is telling you, what is going to bring you the most amount of joy. And if you have the fear of missing out, just remember that when you choose not to go to something and align with yourself and what your body's trying to tell you, it creates way more joy than if you went to that thing and chose something from fear. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and hit the bell button if you want to be notified the next time I upload a video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.